In any case, I think the minister represents government, which ultimately is responsible for all the happenings in the Republic. Think of this media industry, for instance, if there was no regulation of some kind and a board appointed by the minister, to hold accountable, that particular board of the ministry. And with this so-called freedom of expression that has now come, people can easily set the whole republic on fire based on falsehoods. So which is why, the responsibility ultimately lies with government to ensure that there are these acceptable, and I'm saying acceptable levels of control, for lack of a better word, or maybe regulation, just so that there is normalcy in the republic. Otherwise, one day we'll wake up and find that the nation is on fire because of the amount of falsehoods now, the propaganda that is happening, and which is why it's also important for us, indeed, to verify whatever we read through the social media, because half of it, is things that are just meant to mislead the public. Yes, indeed, we are talking about democracy. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, for the most part of my career, I have worked in civil society where I have been championing this issue of freedoms and human rights. I have now matured over the years, and I have come to learn that even this same democracy has got to be guided. Otherwise, it will just go into anarchy and cause unnecessary problems, for our country. And this is not only a concern for Zambia, it is also a concern, Madam Speaker, that we also hear when we interact with other people elsewhere outside this republic. As you know, I'm a member of Pan-African Parliament. We are hearing about all these things, and Zambia should not be an island in terms of bringing home the best practices that will bring sanity within our republic, and not leave things like that in the name of people expressing their freedoms. The issue of monetizing is a different one. It is this House, and I think on the left, where this motion had come, where they were talking about monetizing Facebook, and I heard some argument here trying to say, what will that do to monetizing? I think we didn't disagree with the idea that Facebook can be used to monetize, but as I have alluded to earlier, if this monetization comes through some kind of a service, then there has to be some regulation to that effect. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, that is what I have to say, and really I end by saying that I fully support this particular bill as presented by the committee. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to debate and support the bill that has been ably moved by the Acting Minister of Information. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that today is Black Friday. Yes. On a Black Friday, most of the things are reduced, yes, so that you can entice people to buy your commodity. Yes. But I don't think it's fair to rebate our debates as it is Black Friday. It's not correct. What is being said on the floor of this House, Madam Speaker, is dishonorable. We are members of Parliament. When we stand here, we are supposed to speak factually and defend the interests of the country. This particular bill, Madam Speaker, is harmless. It is intended to regulate podcasts and other TV broadcasts that are being broadcast through social media and other media. The exemptions that have been provided are adequate to protect the interests of Zambians. What Honorable Kafwaya was stating on the floor of the House is incorrect. If it weren't unparliamentary, I would have said he was being uncouth and telling lies. But I would not say it, because it's unparliamentary. Madam Speaker, it is said that we are the only country who are trying to regulate online podcasts and television. That's not correct. I'm aware even the democracies in the Western world have put up regulations. They have put up regulations to ensure that internet is not abused in the interest of the nation and in the interest of residents and citizens of those countries. Every responsible government has made measures. But if you do not regulate, you create a crisis. You are aware of what happened in the United States, in the UK, where online media were propagating hate speech, racism. The government of the UK moved quickly. Within 14 days, they had to bring in a new law to regulate online media. It is in the interest of the country. You heard the president of the US making a pronouncement on issues of podcasts, and that they have moved to ensure that they regulate without abrogating the rights of Zambians, of the citizens of the US. And that is what we have done. The Honorable Minister of Information has done the correct thing. Exemptions have been provided to ensure that the rights of Zambians are not abrogated. And that is what we have done. Madam Speaker, I know he's apprehensive. He thinks that we can abuse our power. We are not. You are aware, Madam Speaker, that they Honorable Kafaya, and the PF are the only ones in the last 10 years who closed a TV station. They are the only ones who shut a newspaper, the Post newspaper. It's the PF. From the time we have been in office, we have not closed any media house. If anything, we have resurrected media houses which they had closed. The PF. People of Zambia trust us. People of Zambia believe that we are the only ones who can move this country forward. The people of Zambia know that when there is a problem, we don't wear black. We resolve issues. When we have problems, we do not rebase our minds. We offer solutions. That's what we are doing. And that is what the Minister of Information is doing. People of Zambia, I would like to urge you to read this bill. Once you have read the bill, you will appreciate that the Minister of Information has no evil intention whatsoever pertaining to this bill. If anything, they are protecting our interests. If we don't, Madam Speaker, we will be allowing pornography to be broadcasting on our platforms. If we don't, human trafficking will be actuated through these processes. Hence the need to ensure that certain regulations are put in place. This particular bill is in the interest of the country. I'm aware they are talking about the issues of appointment. We are not like them. Our party constitution is very clear. It does not provide for appointments based on party membership. The PF were the ones who were appointing people based on party membership. According to Article 3 of the PF Constitution, for you to be appointed to any position of authority, you must be not just a sympathizer, a person who believes in the PF, a PF member. That is what they were saying. Ourselves were appointing any Zambian If you check the boards, Madam Speaker, you will find that some of the board members are PF. It's a fact. And in our regulations, we provide for institutions to be represented. The representation is based on institutions. So, Madam Speaker, I urge all our colleagues to support this very important and progressive bill. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just when the change MP was debating, you guided that people should stick to the bill and should not bring in irrelevant issues in the debate. And I think when you follow Standing Order number 71, we need to be relevant to the topic. Is the minister in order, who is actually an expert than myself on the law, to veer off from what is in the bill and started talking about politics, partisan politics in the House? Is he in order, Madam Speaker? This kind of disorderliness.
Order. What I heard from the minister, he was getting issues from the report. And as a way of emphasizing on the issues that he brought out, he came up with examples that he stated, but he did not move away from the content of the report. So the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, to me, he was not out of order because he was just simply giving examples of the issues that he brought to the floor of the House. The Honorable Minister of Information, Media, wind up debate.
I am broadcaster.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When we stand on the floor of this House, we have to be factual. We have to speak to what is placed and debate what is placed on the floor of the House. The debate by the Honorable Member of Luntem is not even part of the bill. And that is what you call pure drama, to mislead the public. Totally to mislead the public. This House is a respectable House where politics should not be brought here. We are discussing law. The politics, we can do them outside, but let's not use this place to mislead the people of Zambia. So, Madam Speaker, the debate by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Luntem is not part of this bill. It's outside this bill. And if I had the powers, I would say we can actually delete the debate because it's misplaced. Madam Speaker, second point is that the minister will appoint. We have been very prudent as government that the minister gets nominations from appropriate constituencies and only from those does he appoint. And in this case, there will be a representative from the office of the Attorney General, a representative from higher education, a representative from the professional media body, a representative from the Christian body, a representative from ZICTA, a representative from the Engineering Association of Zambia, and a representative from Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants. And these are nominated for the minister to appoint. So it's clear that the minister receives the nomination. And the minister from those constituencies will say, now I shall appoint you to be on the board. So it is clear what we are doing. The minister only appoints upon nominations being given from appropriate institutions. Madam Speaker, imagine, would there be an irregular person that would be nominated from the office of the Attorney General? The answer is no. Would there be an inappropriate person nominated from ZICTA? The answer is no. And these are not political appointments. They are representing the engineering institution. It's not political. So the point I'm making is that let's not mislead the people of Zambia. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
I put the question. The question is that the bill be read now a second time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Let the bill be read a second time.
The Independent Broadcasting Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025.
Committee stage to be taken when?
Madam Speaker, committee stage to be taken on 2nd December 2025. Thank you.
Committee stage to be taken on 2nd December 2025. Next order.
The Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2025, second reading.
The Acting Minister of Information and Media.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you yet again for according me this opportunity to submit an input on this very important bill, the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill number 28 of 2025. Madam Speaker, the ZNBC Act, Cap 154, was enacted in 1998 to establish ZNBC as a statutory corporation, transitioning from the former Zambia Broadcasting Services under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. ZNBC has a nationwide reach through 3 FM radio.
Order. Cecilia.
It's
Is it in order?
yeah, I'm reading the statement.
Is supposed to move the second reading of the bill. Okay, you may continue, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The ZNBC has a nationwide reach through 3 FM radio stations and 4 TV channels. ZNBC faces serious financial and has operational challenges, including monthly operating costs, outstanding debts to ZRA, NAPSA, and ZESCOM, and paid digital migration loan of $54 million, accruing interest of $4 million. Madam Speaker, the objects of the bill: 1, continue the existence of ZNBC and redefine its function. 2, reconstitute the ZNBC board and clarify its function. 3, provide for the imposition and collection of a broadcast levy. 4, repeal and replace the current ZNBC Act, Cap 154. 5, address all matters connected with or incidental to the above. Madam Speaker, the rationale for the repeal and replacement of this bill are, among others, lack of legal definition of public service broadcasting leading to weak funding mechanism. The new bill provides a comprehensive and consolidated framework. Introduction of broadcast levy to replace a TV levy. This broadens the funding base and addresses the liquidity challenges. The bill also provides for the legal establishment of other state-owned broadcasters such as Zanis TV, Parliament TV, Education TV, and Lima Radio. Strengthen regulation and support for state-owned enterprise. Align ZMBC operation with corporate governance standards and other related laws such as appointment of board members, composition. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the ZMBC Act 2025 modernizes Zambia's broadcasting framework to meet technological, financial, and governance needs. It ensures ZMBC remains a reliable, independent, and efficient public service provider. Once enacted, it will position ZMBC to inform, educate, and entertain all Zambians while promoting national unity and democratic participation. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. So we've combined the moving of the motion. The Honorable Minister was supposed to move the motion, then a question was supposed to be asked, but everything has been done. I will use my discretion. We move to any further debate. The chairperson of the Committee on Media, Information and Communication Technologies, the Honorable Member for Mulobezi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in accordance with the terms of reference as set out under Standing Orders 205B and 207J of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, the committee was tasked to consider the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill number 28 of 2025. In order to acquaint itself with the ramification of the bill, the committee sought both written and oral submissions from stakeholders, key stakeholders. Madam Speaker, the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill number 28 of 2023 principally seeks to repeal and replace the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Act, Cap 154, modernize ZNBC by aligning it with the contemporary digital broadcasting standards and provide for professional oversight under the IBA. It also introduces broadcast charter, reposition ZNBC as a public broadcaster rather than a national broadcaster, and the strengthening accountability, professionalism, and the operational modernization in Zambia's broadcasting landscape. Madam Speaker, from the onset, allow me to state that the bill is a step in the right direction as it will go a long way towards improving ZNBC financial stability. It will facilitate operational resilience in that ZNBC will have revenue generating mechanism through the broadcast levy, which has been moved from IBA for both television and radio, among other financing models. It is envisaged that this will enhance the corporation's ability to deliver its services through sustainable and predictable flow of funds that can sustain operations even during economic downturns. Madam Speaker, additionally, Clause 10 of the bill aligns ZNBC operations with the Broadcast Charter under the IBA Act, ensuring adherence to professional broadcast standards. This is significant in that it explicitly integrates ZNBC within the national regulation framework overseen by the IBA. As a result of this, ZNBC will also no longer be self-regulating, but instead operate under the oversight of IBA, which sets and monitor compliance with broadcasting standards and editorial guidelines. Madam, almost all the stakeholders who appeared before the committee supported the bill. A few concerns were raised, as highlighted in the report. Allow me to share some of the concerns for the benefit of the House. Madam Speaker, stakeholders submitted that the Broadcasting Charter provided guiding standards for the content, ethics, and operations of broadcasters. However, the provision was vague regarding compliance as it did not clearly outline the role of the IBA in the event that the NBC failed to meet proposed standards, prescribed standards. Stakeholders therefore recommended that the bill specify enforcement or punitive measures for breach of the Charter. Madam Speaker, concerns were also raised regarding Clause 22 of the bill, which provided broad immunity to board members, committee members, and the staff for actions or omissions undertaken in good faith, but lacked clear safeguards to prevent misuse of protection without defined accountability mechanism. This provision was seen as potentially limiting resources, recourse in the course of negligence or improper conduct carried out under the guise of good faith. Further, stakeholders submitted that board appointments were made by the minister, which gave the executive excessive control over the NBC governance, potentially compromising editorial independence. Stakeholders therefore submitted that the ministry should consider revising this provision. Madam Speaker, allow me to now briefly highlight some of the committee's observations and recommendations for the benefit of the House. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that the bill empowers the minister to establish a state-owned broadcaster subject to cabinet approval. However, there are no limits to how many state broadcasters can be created. The committee therefore recommends that the provision allowing the minister to establish a state-owned broadcaster must be kept to a specific limit, taking into account cost and sustainability concerns. Madam Speaker, the committee also observed that the Broadcasting Charter provides guiding standards for content, ethics, and operations of broadcasters. However, the provision is vague regarding compliance, as does not clearly outline the role of IBA in the event that the NBC fails to meet prescribed standards. In this regard, the committee recommends that the bill clearly defines the role of IBA in monitoring the NBC's compliance with the Broadcasting Charter and establishes appropriate enforcement measures to address cases of non-compliance. Finally, Madam Speaker, I wish to pay tribute to all stakeholders who interacted with the committee. Gratitude also goes to you and the clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and the support rendered to the committee throughout its deliberations. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? Honorable members, if you haven't read the report, please don't debate. The Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Madam Speaker, I would like to indicate that I read the report, though I'm not sure about the column, but all the same, let me continue. Madam Speaker, for the starters, this bill is heavily twinned with the IBA bill. And looking at it, Madam Speaker, you find that it has lifted a lot of definitions, Section 2, into this particular bill. But I will not waste time on those definitions and what they mean. Let me quickly go to Clause 3. Madam Speaker, Clause 3 is talking about professional standards and ethics. It is talking about public interest. It is talking about press freedom. It is talking about freedom of expression, national values as enshrined in the Constitution, and inclusivity. Madam Speaker, when I'm given this picture, I have in mind that this is trying to target Zambia as a democratic state. And if this is trying to target Zambia as a democratic state, the word that has been used to define this particular broadcaster is state-owned broadcaster. And if it's state-owned broadcaster, I would have loved that we call it public broadcaster as opposed to state-owned broadcaster. Why? Because in a representative democracy like we are only stewards of what the people entrust us. And this is an instrument that is supposed to promote national values, that is supposed to promote democracy, that is supposed to promote human dignity, that is supposed to promote constitutionalism and many other. But what happens at ZNBC is contrary to what the bill is talking about. We know that there is a silent policy where you can't go and air your views there as opposition. It will not be allowed. I'm talking from practice and from experience. Even when you talk about...
Can we be factual, Honorable Member for Chiruvi?
Madam Speaker, I'm being factual.
Please be factual.
Yeah, I'm being factual, Madam Speaker. I've been appearing on ZNBC radio and TV as far as 1990. And now it's prohibitive. You can't go there. Yes, and I know what I'm talking about, Madam Speaker. Now, when we look at what I'm talking about, Madam Speaker, I take you back to the issue of Clause 5, read together with this. When I say that this is supposed to promote public interest, Clause 5A is buying into it. Clause 5.1c is also buying into my argument. Madam Speaker, unlike others, I'll try by all means to stick to the bill. Madam Speaker, looking at these factors, what we are trying to say is that public interest should count better than any other interest. I know that the UPND want to react like that today, but I can tell you that from time immemorial and many other ruling parties have been abusing ZNBC. It's not only the UPND, but ruling parties have been abusing the UPND. And it doesn't stand well that we can have this, and for purposes of democratic, for purposes of, putting it in the lead. When we talk about press freedom, Madam Speaker, I have experienced where I have gone to talk about CDF, not anything else, using the same local content that people are talking about here as one of the functions, CDF, where the worker at ZNBC is afraid and is telling me what to say about CDF. Who doesn't? That particular...
Honorable Member, do you have evidence on what you are saying?
Madam Speaker, evidence is
about a worker failing to...
I cannot abuse a worker because that particular worker is not here to defend himself. But what I'm trying to talk about, I can only say God is my witness.
No, yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot take that. Because you are talking to the Zambians who want to see evidence laid on the table there. So that
people can say question, but they know that is what happens. And I'm talking about press freedom. Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Chiruvi, if you have no evidence, kindly withdraw what you had said.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw this and I press it that there is lack of press freedom at ZNBC. Yes. Madam Speaker,
Even that will require evidence, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, when we look at the content, the broadcast content, does it represent national interest? When we look at the same bill, Madam Speaker, in clause 5, it's talking about national diversity. Do we see national diversity at ZMBC? We do not. So what I'm talking about is evidenced by what is broadcast, unless we don't watch, ZMBC. What we see every day, I watch ZMBC. I'm not like asking at Parliament, I buy those government newspapers and I watch ZMBC. So I am a serious follower of ZMBC.
There's an indication for a point of order. The Honorable Member, is it Karabo or Momba? The Honorable Member for Karabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, Honorable Fube is my friend. He knows that he's my friend from the bottom of my heart. Yes. But fact is fact. And truth is truth. It's away from perception. It's away from your personal thinking. Honorable Fube. Are you, okay. Order 71. Is Honorable Fube in order to give us his perception, his thinking as a national way of thinking? He doesn't go there. He's thinking because he's on the left side of the chamber. He's stating things without a fact, without evidence. Surely, Madam Speaker, according to Order 71, is Honorable Member supposed to continue debating on that trajectory without evidence laid on the table? Needing your response.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chirubi was actually asked whether he had evidence, which he didn't have, and he was asked to withdraw. So when the member is asked to withdraw, it means even his pattern of debate should change. So the Honorable Member for Chirubi, please be factual. Like I had mentioned, you are taking it too personal. You are speaking on behalf of the Zambians, and the Zambians are listening to what you are saying. Because if you say the opposition are not allowed, or the worker, that worker you mentioned is not allowed to talk freely, what will be the picture at ZNBC? So please let us try to be very factual. When you are asked for evidence, produce it. If you have no evidence, withdraw and forge ahead. So I don't know if the Honorable Member has any other points to continue with his debate. You may continue, Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I'm well guided.
The Honorable Member for Chirubi, I don't think we have time just to attend to points of order. We want to wind up, to close these reports. And in fact, you are not even supposed to stand in front of the person debating. Standing order number 214S. You are not supposed to stand in between. So the way the points of order are supposed to be raised, please give it some time. I just attended to a point of order. Let's see if the Honorable Member is going to adjust. Then at a later stage, come up with a point of order. Not immediately after attending to a point of order. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the guidance, but I've been trained to say the truth and be sincere at every point. And I think, as I said, I'm well guided. Madam Speaker, I want to bring you to the attention of clause 6. Clause 6, Madam Speaker, if you scrutinize, is not in tandem with Article 259 of the Constitution. Because Article 259 of the Constitution is directive of when we are making some of these appointments. And I know that we have been overlooking this. Madam Speaker, for the sake of this, we have seen that when someone is broadcasting, there is someone who is giving signs and for those who are differently able to get, but there is no representation of the disabled. There is no representation of the youth. I have seen the representation of the women through the NGOCC there and all that. But when we look at that, I think that it is important that even if it's a minister appointing the board, we should abide to the requirements of 259. Madam Speaker, I want to address the issue of TV levy.
Order, Honorable Member. There was an indication for a point of order by the Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Point of procedure, Madam Speaker. I wonder whether we are in order to continue sitting when there is no quorum. Thank you, Madam.
It will be attended to that. Otherwise, they were supposed to indicate. I haven't seen the indication from the clerks at the tables. It will be attended to once I confirm. The Honorable Member for Chirubi, you may continue.
Madam Speaker, I was trying to address the issue of TV levies. When the TV levies were introduced, the capturing by different agents was when a person has purchased a TV, a television set like these ones we are seeing here. And when a person has purchased that, it's presumed that they will, along the way, watch ZNBC also. But we have seen that with the invasion of...
Okay.
Can I continue, Madam Speaker?
You. Order. We don't have a quorum. We are short by 4 members. Can you ring the bells?
Good afternoon. You're tuned in to Parliament Television. The House are currently considering...
The Honorable Member for Kanyama, if you go out.
And so the House is currently considering the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill. National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2025 has been considered at a second reading stage, and members of Parliament are debating this particular bill. Earlier on, we did have the Minister, the Acting Minister of Information and Media, Honorable Mutati, read the objects of the bill, and so members of Parliament are debating this particular bill. We did see Mr. Mabenga, chairperson of the Committee on Information and Media, also add his voice regarding this bill. And on the floor of the House was Chiluri MP, Mr. Fube, debating this particular bill. And so we do not have a quorum. Once a quorum is constituted, business will resume. 1/3 of members of Parliament needs to be in the House in order for business to be transacted. And so as soon as that is done, business...
3 more?
Will resume. Still to come is consideration of the Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025. It's coming up at report stage, and we'll call it a day. And of course, we'll be back to give you a recap of every thing that has been considered on the floor of the House, starting at 09 hours. So do stay tuned right here as we continue to bring Parliament closer to you. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chirubi, you may continue. Wind up.
I was talking about the manner of capturing the TV levies by different agents. We are focused much on the television purchase. We have forgotten that people can watch ZNBC through different means. They can watch using the online and so forth, and that means that they are watching. And we would have broadened the measures to capture the levy. Madam Speaker, I want to submit, as I wind up, that when we look at the editorial policy in clause 21 and many other factors that I've talked about, what we should promote is Article 20, which talks about freedom of expression, which is even in the bill. And the freedom of expression belongs to every Zambian. And that is a national broadcaster where we should make sure that it is socially accepted by the 20 million plus Zambians so that they do a buying in and they can use their broadcaster. And I think this is what I've been trying to underscore, Madam Speaker, that it should belong to all of us.
Time is up. The Honorable Member from Fulira.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I want to confirm that indeed I read the bill and also the committee report. Madam Speaker, this bill seeks to repeal and replace the current ZNBC, Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation bill. And Madam Speaker, I want to start first of all by looking at the bill as it is proposed in Section 3, which is talking about the guiding principles and values of the corporation. And these have been highlighted as professional standards and ethics, public interest, press freedom, freedom of expression, national values and principles, and then inclusivity. These are very good guiding principles, Madam Speaker. However, I have a concern that the corporation, if this bill passes in its form, is going to struggle to achieve these guiding principles. Why do I say so? Madam Speaker, this bill seeks to reconstitute the board of the corporation. In the current law, Madam Speaker, there is an appointment committee which recommends names to the minister, and the minister appoints subject to ratification of the National Assembly. However, this bill in its form, Madam Speaker, is now seeking to remove ratification, is now seeking to remove the National Assembly from ratifying the board. Madam Speaker, if these guiding principles, press freedom, freedom of expression, are to be achieved, we do not need to remove the National Assembly from the process of ratification. ZNBC is a people's broadcaster. ZNBC is a public broadcaster. It is owned by the Zambian people. And now if we reduce its governance by just giving all the powers to the minister to appoint the board, and the board will in turn appoint a director general, we are giving total control of this public broadcaster to the executive. Madam Speaker, I want to agree with the committee's recommendation. The committee, Madam Speaker, recommends that to safeguard independence and accountability, the committee recommends that board appointment be subjected to parliamentary ratification. What is the wrong that is in the current law? That the names are appointed by the minister and it comes here for ratification. Why? It's because we want to ensure that ZNBC remains independent. ZNBC remains impartial. If this bill is passed in its format, we are taking away the power from the people, putting these powers in the executive to appoint the board appoints the director general. The editorial independence of ZNBC stands to be compromised. So, Madam Speaker, my submission is that this part of the bill I do not support, and I just want to urge the minister, as we proceed in the review and enactment of this law, to reconsider this provision and retain the process of ratification of the members of the board by the National Assembly. That will guarantee independence of the public broadcaster. Madam Speaker, I want to move to the next provision in the bill, which is talking about establishment of state-owned broadcaster. The minister, in his opening statement, referred to the struggles that ZNBC is facing in terms of financial struggles and how much it owes various creditors, NAPSA, workers' compensation, and all that. Why? It's because it is struggling in terms of its financial sustainability and liquidity. Now, I'm surprised, Madam Speaker, that while we cannot even take care of ZNBC now in terms of its financial needs for it to operate effectively, the bill is proposing that we establish state-owned broadcasters. What is the need? What will this other, or in fact the number is not even specified. What are these other state broadcasters going to do which ZNBC is not doing? The best would be, first of all, to strengthen ZNBC. I know there are channels. There's ZNBC 1, Radio 1, Radio 2, there's Radio 4. Same goes with TV. There's TV 1, there's TV 2, and I understand there's TV 3, though I've not seen it. So there's no need to even start talking about establishing other state broadcasters. When our very own ZNBC, we are struggling to keep it financial. We are struggling to take care of its operations. So what is the need? What is driving this to include setting up additional broadcasts? If that is what we need in terms of the reach to the people, let's open the provincial broadcasting stations still under ZNBC until ZNBC is financially sound to take care of its own operations. We should not be talking about having these other state-owned broadcasters across the country, which is just going to add a burden on the public coffers, a burden on the people that contribute to the sustainability of ZNBC. Madam Speaker, we do not need to compromise the independence and impartiality of ZNBC. That is why now people even struggle to pay the TV levy, which is now being transformed into TV broadcasting license or fee. The people struggle just as they have no choice. If it was by individuals going to ZNBC and pay, Madam Speaker, I would see that very few would do that. Why? It's because of lack of confidence in the way ZNBC is operating now, in terms of its impartiality and freedom of expression. If we address this issue by strengthening its corporate governance without tampering in the way the board is appointed, we are going to instill confidence in the people, and they will be willingly able to contribute. We should learn from how other public broadcasters like the BBC are run in the UK. It is purely public owned, and people are happy to pay their licenses because of the manner in which it is managed, because of the manner in which it covers news without considering any biasness impartially. If that is brought into ZNBC, people will be very happy, Madam Speaker. So, for me, I do not support this bill in its format. Number one, let's not compromise how the board is being appointed. This proposal in the bill takes away impartiality, it takes away independence. Bring back the National Assembly into the appointment of the bill. And hold this opening of these other state broadcasts. Strengthen ZNBC, both in terms of human capacity and financial capacity. Then we can talk about expanding. Madam Speaker, with these points, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. The Acting Minister of Information and Media wind-up debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Very quickly, from the chair of the committee, he says this is a bill in the right direction. It will give ZNBC financial strength, and it will also more effectively remove the double handling of the collections of the levy, because in between was, IBM, they pass on, they take something out of it, but ZNBC will have a mechanism to collect directly the levy. The issue of the board charter, Madam Speaker, there will be an SI that will be issued to define the role. The consent, that was one of the concerns raised from Honorable Fube, Madam Speaker, via Chulubi. I can only say, obviously, he was a bit speculative and saying only God is his witness, and I'm incapable of checking with God whether he's his witness or not. So I'll not I'll not be able to comment on that. And the last one on the board, Madam Speaker, is defined again, a representative from Attorney General, from Engineering Association, from Education Institution, etc., etc. So I don't see where the problem actually is. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Let the bill be read a second time.
The Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2025.
Committee stage to be taken when?
Madam Speaker, Tuesday, 2nd December. I thank you.
Committee stage to be taken on 2nd December 2025. Next order.
The Occupational Health and Safety Bill, National Assembly Bill number 17 of 2025, report stage.
The Honorable Minister of Labor and Social Security.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report of the committee is adopted.
As no notice has any further amendment, is it your will that the report of the committee be adopted? Any objection? I see none. Report adopted. Day for third reading.
Tuesday, 2nd, Madam Speaker.
Third reading of the bill to be taken on Tuesday, 2nd December 2025. The acting leader of government business adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Good afternoon. That note brings us to the end of today's parliamentary proceedings. Business resumes next week on Tuesday. Time now to look at what has been considered on the floor of the House, starting at 9 hours. Today, Friday, the 28th of November 2025. Madam Speaker did make an announcement. She did recognize the presence in the public gallery of visitors from Kafue Parliamentary Constituency in Kafue District. And so, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker, a warm welcome to the visitors.
In the other announcement, Madam Speaker informed the House that applications for virtual sitting will not be approved with effect from today until the House adjourns sine die. Madam Speaker said that the applications that have already been approved have been cancelled with immediate effect.
After those announcements, Madam Speaker did render a ruling on the application by Ms. T. Lungu, Member of Parliament for Chama constituency, for variation of the directives in the ruling dated Friday, 25th July 2025, on a point of order raised on Tuesday, the 15th of July 2025 by Mr. B. Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency. She did say that on Friday, 25th July, she did render a ruling on a point of order raised on Tuesday, 15th July 2025 by Mr. B. Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency. In raising his point of order, Mr. Kambita MP referred to the alleged submission by the former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu, to the South African High Court where it was reported that the former First Lady stated that her family did not intend to return to Zambia due to safety concerns. On that premise, Mr. Kambita, MP, inquired whether the House was in order to continue recognizing Ms. T. Lungu, MP, as Member of Parliament when she had no intention of returning to Zambia.
In that ruling, Madam Speaker stated that due to the ongoing negotiations and court proceedings between the Lungu family and the government of the Republic of Zambia regarding the burial of the late Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, former President of the Republic of Zambia, the issue of Ms. T. Lungu MP's status would be addressed at a later date. Therefore, in order to balance Ms. Tasila's Lungu MP's right to mourn her late father, and the need for representation of the people for Chawama Parliamentary Constituency, Madam Speaker directed Ms. Tasila Lungu MP in absentia to 1, present herself to her office if the House was on recess or to the House itself within 14 days after the burial of her late father, or 2, present herself to the House within 14 days of the opening of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. Madam Speaker said that Ms. Tasila Lungu MP has to date not presented herself to the House.
And so on the 24th of September 2025, Madam Speaker's office did receive a letter from Ms. T. Lungu. In that letter, Ms. Lungu acknowledged the directives issued in the Speaker's ruling of the 25th of July 2025, and she however stated that her absence from the House was not out of disregard of the Speaker's office on her duties as Member of Parliament, but was due to legal matters related to the burial of her late father. She further indicated that she hoped that legal processes relating to the burial of her late father would be expedited so that she could resume her parliamentary duties. In that regard, Ms. Lungu requested that her leave of absence be extended until the conclusion of the court matter. Alternatively, she requested that she be permitted to attend the sittings of the House virtually.
Madam Speaker referred to the matter to the Committee on Privileges and Absences for the committee to inquire into the application by Mr. Tasila Lungu MP and to make appropriate recommendations to the Assembly. The referral was premised on Section 28(5) of the National Assembly of Zambia, Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 12 of the Laws of Zambia. 28(5), the Speaker may refer a case of breach of a privilege or contempt of the Assembly to the Committee on Privileges to examine the case and make appropriate recommendations to the Assembly.
And similarly, Standing Order 2023-3A1 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, provides that a committee shall assist the Speaker in considering matters relating to the privileges and discipline of members, and that Standing Order 215 A of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Order 2024, provides that non-compliance with a ruling or directive of a presiding officer is an act of gross disorderly conduct. It states that a member commits an act of gross disorderly conduct if that member defies a ruling or directive of a presiding officer.
Further, Standing Order 243-1 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, provides for the procedure from the sittings of the House. It states as follows: 243, a member seeking permission to be absent from the sitting of the House shall seek written permission of the Government Chief Whip or the Speaker in such form as the Speaker may determine, stating the period of absence, the reasons, or any other relevant information.
Madam Speaker did state that President was set in the ruling on a point of order raised on Tuesday, 15th October 2023, and Aleki constituency Parliament for Petauke Central constituency following his absence from the House after his disappearance from Chipata Central Hospital. In that case, the House resolved that Madam Speaker invokes Article 72(8) of the Constitution by informing the Electoral Commission of Zambia of the occurrence of a vacancy in the Petauke Central Parliamentary constituency. This followed the prolonged unauthorized